Referring to Robert Kapolis's book Experimental Drawing, there's a way in which you can break down an object, particularly a life figure, into a limited number of marks. I usually suggest that you try to get the figure down in the maximum number of 5 brush marks. The first thing to consider is the size of the brush itself. By that, the thinnest mark that the brush can make to the thickest mark that the brush can make. The thickest brush mark should equate roughly to the width of the torso, and subsequent marks, being smaller than that, will start to create the idea of a figure. For this kind of drawing, it's a good idea to draw in the air first of all. Stand in front of the model and literally imagine drawing through the figure. How would you move your arm? What would the direction of the brush be? And if you're staring at the figure for about a minute, rehearsing your brush mark, by the time you actually come to make your drawing, you can do it very, very quickly. Graphite, compressed charcoal, all of these things can be used to work back into the drawing because they can work on a wet surface. The important thing is not to redraw what you've already drawn, but to use the drawing medium to add information that's not in the current drawing. This could be the defining edge of the figure. This could be a shadow or a hand. The notion of the brush mark is to capture the essence of the pose. If you dilute your ink or acrylic down to the right consistency, then you're left with a light line. And that means that you can also work back into that line when you need to. A slightly more opaque black means that you can begin to define a bit more of the tonal information that's on the figure. And obviously this allows you to draw figures very, very quickly indeed. The same approach can be done with charcoal. Breaking a piece of charcoal off, using the width of the charcoal to create the width of the limbs. Using the finger to move the charcoal around, again to try to summarise the figure in the minimum number of marks needed to capture the essence of the pose. Redrawing and reiterating elements of the figure that aren't included in the initial gestural marks. I'd like to feel that I can capture the essence of the figure in a few seconds, and then I've got the time to start to correct and change and alter the drawing. And if the figure does move at this point, I've still got the essence of the figure on the page.